know that your worst enemy is between your own two ears? You probably knew this, right? There was a time I didn't know that, but on some level, I think I did. But today we're going to talk about, the things that we do that makes us more of an enemy than actually being the greatest friend to ourself, which is ourself, if you will. So self-sabotage, and I know that all of you listening to this are very, very aware of self-sabotage. The times you've been winning and the times you went and did something that caused you to start losing, or maybe you couldn't have the win, or maybe you didn't take your next step. Maybe you stopped doing what was really, really successful. Maybe you veered off. All forms of self-sabotage. But I don't want you thinking about that. I don't want you looking at that, because that's not the way to handle self-sabotage. The way to handle self-sabotage is a very, very positive process. So you don't need to beat yourself up for all the self-sabotage that you've done in your whole entire life. What do we know about the past? That the past is in the past. So the way to reverse sabotage is a very positive process. It's positive self-talk. And it starts with you appreciating yourself. Now, I was taught when I was growing up in my home to, always say thank you and always appreciate, those people that contributed to you or did nice things for you. But we just didn't have the concept of appreciating yourself. I wasn't taught to appreciate myself. And I don't say that in a negative way, toward my parents, because I was born in 58, and personal development, there wasn't that much personal development available at that time. Okay, there were some books, but it just really comes down to being trained and being aware on how to teach a person to really, really appreciate themselves. So the first step to stop sabotaging yourself is to appreciate yourself. It's making more of what you can do, making more of your abilities. And maybe there are things you've always been able to do that you take for granted. You need to acknowledge those and really appreciate those, your talents, and all the achievements and wins that you've had. And so if you were surrounded by people that didn't know how to do that, well, then it's just a skill. It's a matter of awareness and being able to reverse that by applying what I just said. So acknowledging yourself, not others, but acknowledging yourself first is the way you get over self-sabotage. That would start to reversing the process. So the other thing is that I wanted to bring out today that is key is most people, sometimes they get, have you ever noticed how you may do 99 things right and maybe one thing that you could have done better, or one thing that you really flubbed up on? And the person's attention, I see it all the time. I've seen it with myself. I've seen it with clients. Their attention will go to the one thing they did wrong. And a lot of times when things aren't going a person's way, a lot of times they ask themselves a question, what's wrong with me? Well, what's wrong with me is a very negative process. That's part of self-sabotage. The right question, if you're going to ask a question, is what's right with me? Okay? Because that focuses your attention on all the things you do right. Okay? Not wrong. You don't need any help doing that. So we're going to reverse that whole cycle, that whole process that you may have been running, or you find yourself getting into when you've flubbed up. So this is a process that I want you to write down. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look around here and you're going to select someone or something you can like. And I'm going to run this with you so you can see. So I have selected my cell phone, okay? The next part of the exercise is touch it, okay? I've picked it up and I've touched it. And then tell me something about it is command number 3. Well, I love my cell phone. I love the cell phone because it keeps me connected to all the wonderful people that I've met all over the world, some of my closest friends, some of my acquaintances, and I can send a text 24 hours a day. I can send an email. I can, communicate wherever I go with this device. So I love my cell phone. So that's really the process. Now, did you notice how when I pick something I like, not something someone told me I should like, but something I liked, did you notice how mood level is so positive, and then getting to share what I like about it also elevates the mood. It's also an acknowledgement of myself that I matter. So that's the exercise. Practice reversing the sabotaging things that you do to yourself, and it starts with number one, appreciating yourself, making more of yourself, making more of your talents, abilities, achievements, and wins. See you next week.